I of beauty, I of splendor, I to us so sweet and fair. All sorely gazing in wonder at thy gifts so rich and rare. Rivers, valleys, hills and mountains, all his gifts we do extol. And feel and so like all fountains, giving cheer that warms the soul. Thank you so much, Thais. Please remain standing whilst we invite Ms. Hunter to open up today's proceedings with a word of prayer.
Heavenly Father, I would like to thank you for bringing us all here today. Thank you for blessing all organizers, judges, sponsors, and all the schools who have participated in this competition. Lord, we ask you to specially bless those who will be debating today, that they remember all that they have practiced, all that they have researched, and all that they have read. Also, would like you to bless the judges today, that they may hear and understand clearly what the debaters are trying to preach to them. I also pray that everything planned for today will run smoothly. In your name I pray. Amen.
Please be seated. Honorable Octavia Alfred, Minister for Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training and National Excellence, other specially invited guests, principals, coaches, debate officials, students, representatives of the different sponsors, members of the media, debaters, good morning to you all, and welcome to the finals of the Intersecondary Schools Debating Competition of 2024. Today marks the end of a challenging journey for debaters from two secondary schools, the St. Mary's Academy and the Orion Academy. The 2024 installment of the Intersecondary Schools Debating Competition began in January, with 9 schools competing, and by round 2 in February, 6 schools remained, and by the semi-finals in March, 4 schools remained. And today, the last 2 schools standing will seek to secure the coveted championship title. It is an exciting time, probably an anxiety-riddled time for our debaters, but exciting nonetheless. Nelson Mandela famously said, "A good leader can engage in a debate frankly and thoroughly, knowing that at the end, he and the other side must be closer and thus emerge stronger. You don't have that idea when you are arrogant, superficial, and uninformed." So as much as we love the competitiveness of a good debate season, the true debate of this exercise must always be upheld. And so we expect at the end, our 4 debaters, our 4 finalists, to shake hands and embrace that even in their differences of opinion, their contributions have made them closer and us as a society stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, it is indeed an exciting time. And now I want you to show me that excitement that you must feel. So if you are a student of the St. Mary's Academy and you're here today to support your team, I want to hear you. SMA, are you there? Okay. If you are a student of the Orion Academy and you're here today to support your team, I want to hear you. If you are a member, you're a student, staff member of another high school who took part in the intersecondary schools debating competition, you're not competing today, but you're here to recognize and support one of the memorable orators who will be awarded today. Let me hear you. That's right. And if you are a parent, guardian, grandparent, auntie, nene, cousin, any other relative of our four finalists here today, and you are here to support them, let me hear you. And the excitement is now officially felt. It's debate time. Before I introduce the moderator for today's day to not acknowledge our sponsors, of course, as the organizer, it was a Herculean task gaining financial backing for this endeavor. But I appreciate the generosity of over 25 sponsors and contributors to this debate. I will mention them briefly because I must mention our sponsors: Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, Lindomart, Fine Foods Inc., KFC Division, National Cooperative Credit Union, the Insurance Company of the West Indies, Donlec, Western Illinois University, Fortian Hotel, Q95 Radio, DBS Radio, Dominica News Online, Freeman Consulting Group LLC, Dr. Joshua Lloyd and his wife, Corinthia Joseph Lloyd, Vivian TV, Jolly's Pharmacy, HHB Whitchurch and Company Limited, Jungle Bay Dominica, Lovely Things, Finance Focus, The Watering Can, Vive Eye Care, the University of the West Indies Global Campus, Crazy Carrot, Meraki Designs, Yakima Coffee, Francine Barrett Commodore, Elaine Renee Buncombe, and Dr. Isla, of course, Jordan Jeremy Photography. Thank you so much to our sponsors and our partner, of course, the Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training, and National Excellence, and the Dominica State College Literary and Debating Society. It is now time to introduce the moderator for today's debate. I will be passing over to a very capable moderator, and I will be taking a seat today to enjoy the competition. So the moderator for today's debate is Dr. Kimon Joseph. She's the head at the UWI Global Campus Dominica. She holds a doctoral degree in higher education, leadership and management. Her graduate and undergraduate degrees are in communication studies, and in addition to her administrative duties, she teaches public speaking and leadership courses at the UWI. She's the former coordinator of the Kiwanis Club of Roseau Secondary Schools Debating Competition and an integral part of the Intersecondary Schools Debating Competition. I welcome now Dr. Kimon Joseph, the moderator for the debate today. Good morning, everyone. I wish to recognize the minister who is here with us today, Mr. Alfred. It's good to see you. I wish to also recognize the sponsor representatives who are here with us today. I see a representative from Domlec as well as the representative from the National Cooperative Credit Union. I'm not sure if there are any. I'll stop now before I don't call people, but it's a pleasure to have our representatives for our sponsors with us today. I would like to welcome the students who are here from both schools who are competing today. We have Orion Academy as well as St. Mary's Academy. And I see a number of the schools who participated in the competition from January. Some of them are honored to be at your debate, so I see that you are here today. And so I welcome you as well. I welcome parents who are joining us, our judges, of course, who will have the difficult task of deciding who the champions will be. I'm always glad, I judge too, but I'm always glad when it's not me. So I welcome all of you, our chief judge, as well as the two people assisting. I welcome the students from the Dominica State College Debating Society who are assisting us today with the officiating as well as moving around and making sure that everything is also to the media representatives who are here today. So welcome everyone to the finals. As the truly by me, Kimo Joseph, I'm head at PWI, and it has been my pleasure since we started last year to as a moderator as well as a trainer for the moderators and the judges in this debate competition. I enjoy debates very much, and when it had stopped for a while, I didn't know quite what we were going to do, so I was so happy that Trudy has started it up again. So thank you so much, Ms. Christian, for building this up again. We know how important public speaking skills and how important it is for young people to engage in positive competition. So the topic for today is the tourism industry is currently the most valuable tool for economic growth and diversification in Dominica. And proposing that topic for us will be the St. Mary's Academy. The speakers will be Mr. Noah Sorrendo and Mr. Jelani Shillingford. Opposing the topic will be the students of the Orion Academy. And to do that for us, we will have Diamond Daniel and Ajan, because I'm messing it up now, and you want me, Ajani Maxwell. So I want to really congratulate the students on reaching this far. This is a tremendous feat in itself, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful debate this morning. As I said, our topic is the tourism industry is currently the most valuable tool for economic growth and diversification in Dominica. So I wish to introduce our judges to you. This morning, our chief judge is Mrs. Nicole Laville. Nicole Laville has worked in engineering management for a number of years. She has a bachelor's degree in biomedical engineering, a master's in mechanical engineering, and also a master's in business administration. She presently works as the director of engineering at Dominica Hospitals Authority. Mrs. Laville, will you wait so everybody can see you? This is Mrs. Laville, everyone. And assisting Mrs. Laville today is Ms. Indira Sejan. Indira is an attorney at law, certified mediator, notary public, and a lecturer at the Dominica State College. She has been engaged in private practice for the past 15 years with a focus in corporate law, property law, administration of estates, and alternative disputes resolution. Ladies and gentlemen, Indira Sejan. And the third judge is Mr. David Edwards. David Edwards is a regional consultant on development projects who formerly served in the Ministry of Education. Mr. David Edwards. And now I'd like to introduce our debaters. And when I call your name, students, and I've done your introduction, I'd like you to come forward and take your seat. So proposing our topic today is St. Mary's Academy. And the first speaker for St. Mary's Academy is Mr. Noah Sorrendo. Noah is a former student. He likes IT and history. He's interested in studying computer science, and he's from Mount Prosper in the Roseau Valley. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Noah Sorrendo. And today, Noah will be assisted by Mr. Jelani Shillingford. Jelani is a Form 4 student at St. Mary's Academy. He likes biology, physics, and history. He wants to go into the field of engineering, and he lives in Goodwill. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jelani. This is our team from St. Mary's Academy. The opposing team comes from Orion Academy. The first speaker is Ms. Diamond Daniel. a lone female in this competition, surprisingly. Danielle is a diamond, is a form 5 student. She likes math. She's interested in studying sport and she lives in Massac. Ladies and gentlemen, Diamond. And today, Diamond will be assisted by Ejadi Maxwell. Ejadi is a form 4 student. He likes math and IT, and he wants to own his own business one day. And Ejadi is from Charu. So this is how the debate proceeding will take place today. So as I mentioned earlier, our topic is the tourism industry is currently the most valuable tool for economic expansion in America. And proposing the topic will be St. Mary's Academy, and opposing the topic will be Orion Academy. So the first speaker from St. Mary's, and that will be Mr. Noah Sorrento, will speak for 10 minutes. Then the first speaker from the opposing team, which is Diamond Daniel from Orion Academy, will give her presentation for 10 minutes. Then we'll move on to the second speakers. The second speaker from the proposing team, Jelani Shillingford, will speak for 7 minutes. And following him, we'll have Ejani Maxwell speaking for 7 minutes for Orion Academy. Then we'll have a 5-minute break. Well, it's very, very hard, I know. But all of us will have to be extremely quiet for 5 whole minutes while the students organize their rebuttal. Once it's time for rebuttal, we will hear from the first speaker from St. Mary's, and that will be Noah Sorrento for 3 minutes, and then the first speaker for Orion Academy, Diamond Daniel, for 3 minutes. Then the judges will retire to do their deliberations, and during that time, we will have other features of the program. And so I'm ready, if you're ready. And so we're going to move in now to our debate. And our first speaker will come forward. So the topic one more time is the tourism industry is currently the most valuable tool for economic growth and diversification in Dominica. I call Mr. Noah Sorrento to come forward to give his presentation. Noah?
Madam Moderator, esteemed judges, audience members, and my fellow debaters, good afternoon. We are brought to the conclusion of this debate competition by the moot. The tourism industry is currently the most valuable tool for economic growth and diversification in Dominica. My colleague and I stand before you in favor of the moot, with my argument highlighting the tremendous value of tourism to Dominica's economy and the many ways in which it brings this value to the country, while my colleague's argument will expound on the tourism industry's role in economic growth and its linkages with several other industries, accentuating how tourism has grown and diversified the economy and is now Dominica's most valuable tool for our future development. But first, let us define some key terms. Tourism, according to the World Tourism Organization, is a social, cultural, and economic phenomenon which entails the movement of people to countries or places outside of their usual environment for personal, business, or professional purposes. Valuable, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, means worth a lot of money or important, useful, or beneficial. And finally, as defined by the United Nations, economic diversification is the process of shifting an economy away from a single income source toward multiple sources from a growing range of sectors and markets. My worthy opponents, as we all know, our beautiful island, Dominica, dubbed the Nature Isle of the Caribbean, is filled with exotic black sand beaches, glistening rivers and waterfalls, picturesque mountains, lush rainforests, and many other tourist attractions spread throughout the island. In 2022 and 2023, the island was the recipient of numerous international accolades. The Forbes magazine's Top 5 Destinations Placed on Your Radar 2023 ranked Dominica number 1. It emerged as the winner in Travel and Leisure Reader's 25 Favorite Islands in the Caribbean, Bermuda, and the Bahamas of 2023, and it secured a rank among CNN's 25 Most Beautiful Places in 2023. 2024 is following in the same vein, with Dominica continuing to receive several international accolades. It is then no wonder that tourism has established itself as one of Dominica's leading industries. But just how valuable is it? And should one even go as far to say that it is the most valuable? We believe that the answer to the latter is a resounding this immense monetary worth and potential, and its present and future impact on the growth and diversification of our economy. Firstly, the tourism industry holds evident monetary worth and impactful direct stimulation towards economic growth. According to an Eastern Caribbean Central Bank report dated June 2023, entitled Commonwealth of Dominica, Economic and Financial Review, economic activity in the Commonwealth of Dominica expanded in the first half of 2023 relative to the comparative period in 2022, with this improved performance being strongly supported by the tourism sector in particular. My worthy opponents, tourism contributes a significant percentage to our country's GDP, and the effects of tourism on our economy, both directly and indirectly, are tremendous and cannot be overlooked. An IMF report entitled Unlocking Tourism Potential for Sustainable and Inclusive Growth in Dominica, dated August 2023, indicated that in 2019, tourism contributed 12.2% of the total GDP of Dominica, which was among the highest. Despite the challenges that the industry faced during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 and 2021, the tourism industry has shown incredible resilience and has found its footing once more, as visitor numbers have continued to rise to meet our pre-COVID numbers, and we are now on track to surpass them this year. During an interview conducted on April 10, 2024, with the CEO of Discover Dominica Authority, Mr. Colin Piper, he provided us with an official but unpublished DDA report containing historical and current tourism statistics, including visitor arrivals, source market details, and mode of transportation for arrivals, among others. This report indicated that Dominica received 389,604 visitors, including 74,613 stay-over visitors in 2023, a 22% increase from 2022. The aforementioned IMF report estimated that each stay-over visitor spent an average of $3,323 while on island. If this figure is applied to the 74,613 stay-over visitors for 2023, tourism expenditure in 2023 potentially garnered up to a whopping $247 million for the island. Bear in mind that this figure does not include spending by cruise passengers, yacht arrivals, or one-day excursionists, which would further increase this total spent on the island. According to the government's budget address for the fiscal year 2023-24, delivered by the Minister for Finance, Honorable Dr. Irving McIntyre, in July 2023, the Ministry of Tourism aims to increase stay-over visitor arrivals to 500,000 by 2030. This goal, nearly 7 times the current figure, seems highly ambitious. However, with the ongoing construction of major infrastructural and capital projects tied to the tourism industry, such as the international airport, which will significantly improve air access to the island, the Tranquility Beach Hotel in Salisbury, the Sanctuary Rainforest Eco Resort in Lodi, and the creation of new jaw-dropping tourist attractions like the Cable Car Project, anticipated to bring in and facilitate the stay of thousands of tourists. This goal of 500,000 visitors hardly seems far-fetched. Think for a second, my worthy opponents, of the substantial influx of income and stimulus to the economy that these 500,000 visitors will generate. While tourism is undeniably a major driver of economic growth, its value extends far beyond tourist spending. It plays a pivotal role in job creation, particularly in Dominica, where it accounts for a significant portion of employment, around 10.5% of the total employment, according to the IMF report, when measured directly through the hospitality sectors. In the same July 2023 budget address, Honorable Dr. McIntyre indicated that the Ministry of Tourism's strategic initiative to boost visitor arrivals will result in the creation of numerous sustainable job opportunities for Dominican citizens, and that this increased employment will further contribute to the efficient growth of our economy. Secondly, my worthy opponents, we must not overlook the tourism industry's significant indirect impacts on the economy and stimulation of the other sectors that you may wish to prioritize. According to data from the World Travel and Tourism Council's June 2023 report entitled Travel and Tourism in the Caribbean, Prospect for Growth in 2023, the weight of the tourism sector is estimated to be considerably larger than what is currently being captured in economic reports, like the 12.2% to GDP mentioned earlier, considering its contributions through connected sectors and industries. It estimates that tourism is at about a third of economic output. Furthermore, it stated that Dominica's tourism exports have been historically much larger than the export of goods, except during the pandemic, when tourism exports were only marginally higher than that of goods. Favorable outcomes in the tourism sector facilitate positive spillovers in supporting sectors such as wholesale and retail trade, the agricultural sector, transport and storage, and real estate activities. Through tourism, the hospitality sector is a major consumer of goods and services, including local agricultural produce, manufactured goods, as well as a host of other critical services that play a major role in supporting these various other sectors. In addition, in 2023, as per the ECCB report referred to earlier, there was an increase in construction activity due in large part to the ongoing construction of CBI-funded private sector developments, including the Tranquility Beach Resort and expansion of Secret Bay, both of which are tourism-related projects which have accounted for the employment of many locals, as well as the consumption of local goods and services. By boosting and stimulating these other industries and sectors, tourism plays an extremely large role in the diversification of our economy. My worthy opponents, I urge you to look around at the dozens of projects directly linked to tourism in development at this very moment. Take a look at the numerous international accolades that our island has received and continues to receive as a destination for tourism. Open your eyes to the wonders that the industry has created for our economy, both directly and indirectly. And finally, I shudder to think what Dominica's economy would look like today, post the pandemic and other catastrophic natural disasters like Hurricane Maria, had it not been for the reemergence and steady growth of the tourism industry. I thank you.
Mr. Nono, the students are allowed 1 minute window. I forgot to say that at the beginning. And then after that, points will be deducted for going over time. And so Noah spoke for 10 minutes and 57 seconds. So right in there, so instead of the penalty. All right? We now have the first speaker, and that is Danny.
Honorable Octavia Alfred, Minister of Education, honorable judges, Madam Moderator, members of the audience and the media, and my most capable opponents. Good morning and welcome. Of all the industries that support Dominica's economy, tourism is certainly the most visible. Everyone knows about the luxury resorts and the ones that are supposedly on their way. Everyone can see that several cruise ships dock in our ports and hundreds of visitors to our streets and natural sites. To the layman, the tourism industry may appear to be so lucrative and shiny. I can see why my opponents would conclude it is currently the most valuable tool for economic growth and diversification in Dominica. But beware, not all that glitters is gold. My teammates and I stand before you to oppose this motion and to unveil the hidden vulnerabilities of this very flashy industry. We will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that while the tourism industry is a tool, it is not the most valuable tool for economic development and diversification in Dominica. And it is not where we should focus our investment priorities. Allow me to first define a few key terms in the motion. According to a book on alternative tourism by Ramazan Aaron, the tourism industry refers to the units consisting of companies and organizations that offer services to the tourists and have common functions. The Oxford Dictionary defines economy as the state of a country or region in terms of the production and consumption of goods and services and the supply of money. Investopedia defines economic growth as the expansion of a country's economy over time, and it defines diversification as a risk management strategy which involves spreading investments across different assets. I will now expound on two major reasons why tourism is not the industry that is going to be Dominica's biggest catalyst toward economic growth. One, the tourism industry is too volatile and reliant on external factors that are out of our control. No matter how hard we try and how we market our tourism product, global economic downturns, natural disasters, and pandemics can still knock this industry flat on its face. Analyzing the effects of tropical storm Orion and hurricane, a 2026 that the number of tourist arrivals in Dominica declined by more than 20% on average after a natural disaster, and the negative impact persisted for months following the events. And recovery has been slow. End of quote. According to statistics obtained from the Ministry of Tourism, dropped by 84% during the heat of the COVID-19 pandemic. Madam Moderator, unfortunately, these are not isolated events. Because of our geographical location, Dominica is extremely susceptible to natural disasters. And scientists such as Dr. Natalie Macomont warned that global warming and other factors make it increasingly likely that the world will face another pandemic. Capable opponents, if we are trying to forge a sustainable path for economic growth, then why would we choose to put our trust in the most vulnerable, most unreliable industry in our economic arsenal? And judges, we have not even begun to discuss the impact of international and regional travel prices on this industry. A CNBC News report stated that in the last year, the consumer price index for airline tickets has shot up by 25%. And the same IMF report referred to earlier stated that on average, inter-regional flights cost 4.8 times more per nautical mile than international ones, making it cheaper in some countries to fly to Florida than to fly within the region. Capable opponents, these factors make it overwhelmingly clear that if we are to place too many of our eggs in the tourism basket, that instead of growth, we are more likely to experience catastrophic economic setbacks. 2. Dominica's share of the Caribbean tourism market and competition is tight. According to tourismanalytics.com, the Caribbean is the most tourism-dependent region in the world. In 2022, over 2 million stayover visitors came to the region. However, Dominica's share of that number was only 0.003%. Our neighbors in the region have been developing their tourism products for decades. And the reality is that world-class hotels, luxury resorts, competitive rates, international airports, and yes, even adventure and ecotourism are already available in abundance in the region. In 2022, tourism accounted for 93% of total GDP in Antigua. In St. Lucia, 56%. In Grenada, 51%. But according to the Ministry of Finance, their portfolio review document for the 2022 to 2023 financial year, in Dominica, it was less than 2%. Capable opponents, the same shiny tourism industry accounted for less than 2% of total GDP. Truly, not all that glitters is gold. Furthermore, honorable judges, there is very little room for diversification within our tourism products. For a very specific agro, adventure, and ecotourism product that, realistically speaking, only appeals to a small niche market. Don't get me wrong, I love the nature island, and I truly believe that our tourism product is breathtakingly beautiful. But this discussion is about numbers. And the reality is that this industry on its own generates nowhere near the amount of revenue it takes to propel economic growth. And it is so far from ever being able to do so. The team interviewed a technical officer in the Ministry of Tourism, and she acknowledged that while the tourism industry in Dominica is growing, it currently lacks the capacity Dominica's primary source of economic growth. She stated that the ministry is determined the environmental, social, and cultural impacts of all tourism activities. This cautious approach is surely to be commended, because we would not want to destroy the same untouched natural island that we are promoting. However, Madam Moderator, it inevitably means that growth within this industry will occur in a controlled and measured manner. It also means that the tourism industry will not soon become the booming economic catalyst that my opponents claim. In conclusion, honorable judges, the tourism industry in Dominica is valuable. It contributes to economy and it deserves to be nurtured and sustained. But it is by no means the most valuable tool for economic growth and diversification in Dominica. Judges, our opposition to this motion has been firmly established by facts. But our argument is not over. Social engineer Jacques Fresco said, "It is not enough to criticize society without offering a workable alternative. So if not tourism, then what?" I invite you to listen while my colleague delivers his arguments. He will discuss why the agriculture industry and the blue and green economy are the real MVPs in our quest for economic growth and diversification in Dominica. We stand at the crossroads of progress. To achieve our economic goals, we must explore sustainable alternatives that truly empower our nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diamond. Diamond spoke for 9 minutes and 24 seconds. So we take the argument back now, and we call on the second speaker for the St. Mary's Academy, Mr. Jelani Chillingford.
Madam Moderator, esteemed members, good afternoon. My colleague presented to you the tremendous value of tourism to Dominica's economy. And in case you have been stuck in the past, like Senator Hector John, who often speaks of the days when banana trucks used to line the street on their way to the port to deliver bananas into the United Kingdom, I urge you to live in the present, because those days of preferential treatment which made banana from our region king, and in so doing, agriculture and the ministry of our economy, is no more. My culture is an future to the economy, but we are resolute that it is through tourism that other sectors of the economy, such as agriculture and industry, will be boosted. In a February 2nd, 2020 article, Dominica sets aggressive tourism target of 200,000 visitors by 2025, which appeared on Dominica News Online. The Honorable Minister for Tourism, Dennis Charles, expressed that Dominica's tourism products, aquatourism, agritourism, health and wellness, adventure and events and entertainment. A 2022 United Nations Development Program, UNDP, Tourism Diagnostic Report for Dominica states, the growth in nature-based tourism and outdoor recreation provides opportunities for Dominica's tourism pillars. My worthy opponents, the question is whether tourism is a tool that can bring us economic growth, and this report supports that it can if we diversify products. Let us examine how few of the identified pillars can work to our benefit. In his book, Tourism Security, Peter Tarlow notes that aquatourism is any form of tourism that involves water motivator. A Future Market Insights Inc. article, Water Adventure Tourism Market Outlook from 2024 to 2034, estimates that the water adventure tourism market is worth US $216.8 billion in 2024 and is projected to grow to US $1.06 trillion in 2034. My worthy opponents, Dominica must position itself to have a piece of this pie. The Professional Association of Diving Instructors, PADI, rates Dominica as one of the top 10 diving destinations in the world. So, we must leverage that to our benefit. Yachties have always been welcomed in our waters, and the construction of a marina can add value to the product, guaranteeing foreign exchange to the economy. Dominica's tourism product can also be boosted by its abundant supply of fresh water. In addition to visits to our freshwater lakes, waterfalls, rivers, etc., we must focus on developing a factory to bottle our spring water for local consumption and export. My worthy opponents, while we accept that industries can stimulate economic growth, they will need tourist numbers to enable their success. A conversation with Joan Douglas, who worked for 40 years, over 20 of these years as a production supervisor of the popular Belly factory, a now dead agro-processing establishment, revealed that as they sourced insufficient raw material locally and so imported from Latin America, securing a home market, and eventually it was crippled by its loss of a major overseas market for pepper products. My worthy opponents, do we still want to rely on an industry like this as our most valuable economic generator? Agritourism will boost our industries. Agritourism is defined by the United States Department of Agriculture as a form of commercial enterprise that moves agricultural production or processing with tourism for the purpose of educating or entertaining the visitor while generating income. Those of you who have visited the chocolate factory at Point Baptiste in Calibishi to view the production process, taste and purchase the products will understand the concept. We also have to, like Mrs. Daria Eugene, think out of the box. She gives tourists an authentic farm to table upon their experience. A look at her Facebook page will reveal tourism potential if one thinks out of the box. I will surmise that she will source the produce she does not have, which translates to money in the pocket of the suppliers. The testimonies of the experience will, of course, increase tourist participation and help with this business. My worthy opponents, Dominica's health and wellness and adventure pillars can be leveraged to attract tourists from all walks of life to the island to enjoy relatively clean air, relaxing nature at our eco-establishments, and tour companies can package hiking tours of varying levels of difficulty around the island. In the aforementioned UNDP report referenced earlier, the CEO and founder of Responsible Travel, Justin Francis, believes that post-pandemic trends will see an increasing role for expert tour guides who can provide opportunities for tourists to gain experience about traditional crafts, cooking skills, and receive personalized and inclusive tours. There will be a focus on nature and small islands as people live increasingly crave space and a slower pace. There, my working opponents, lies Dominica's opportunity for economic growth through the diversification of the tourism products. According to a World Bank report, in 2022, Dominica's population was 72,747. But is it still that number? Every day we have friends, family members, and acquaintances emigrating. Have you been to the market to see how the slow rate at which produce leaves vendors' tables? Have you been to the supermarkets to witness the produce sourced from local farmers building in the chills? Why is this the case? This is because we do not have the population to purchase and consume the little we already have. My worthy opponents, we stand resolute that tourism is currently the most valuable tool for economic growth and diversification in Dominica. Increased visitor numbers to stimulate economic activity through tourism subsectors is the answer. Good afternoon.
Well, good almost afternoon to you too, Jelani. Jelani spoke for 6 minutes and 12 seconds. Our final speaker for this part of the debate will be from the Orion Academy. And the second speaker, please welcome Ejani Maxwell.
Honorable Dr. Octavia Alfred, Minister of Education, honorable judges, Madam Moderator, members of the audience and media, my capable opponents, a pleasant good morning to you all. At this critical point in our national development, choosing the wrong industry to become the linchpin in our plan for economic growth can set us back for decades to come. That is why my teammates and I absolutely cannot support the motion that the tourism industry is the most valuable tool to make Dominica's economy diversified. So we must look beyond this sector and explore alternative avenues for sustainable development and prosperity, and the answer within agriculture and green economy. But what exactly does this mean? The United Nations defines the green economy as a low-carbon, resource-efficient, and socially inclusive economy. The Oxford Dictionary defines the blue economy economic system or sector that seeks to conserve marine and freshwater environments while using them in a sustainable way to produce energy and food. And it defines agriculture as the science or practice of farming, including cultivation, the growing of crops, and the rearing of animals to provide food, wool, and other products. My colleague has articulately expounded on two main areas that prove that the tourism industry cannot be relied on to be the main catalyst of economic growth in Dominica. I will now explain how agriculture far surpasses tourism as a tool for economic growth and diversification in these very areas. Firstly, the agricultural industry is much less volatile and much more resilient. Madam Moderator, my capable opponents seem to have short memory as they have forgotten the tourism industry left us high and dry during the COVID-19 pandemic. Vendors and tour guides became unemployed, hotels became ghost towns, and many even had to lay off staff. Statistics obtained from the Ministry of Tourism shows that during the pandemic, stay-over tourism dropped by 84%, as my colleague mentioned, and cruise ship tourism dropped by 78%. But what about agriculture? Did she abandon us? On the contrary, according to statistics obtained from the reputable data analysis site Statistica, this resilient industry actually grew through the pandemic from an 11.9% contribution to Dominica's GDP in 2019 to a 15.1% contribution in 2020 and a 16.9% contribution in 2021. You see, capable opponents, the simple but profound fact is that people always need food. And the Ministry of Agriculture and the Blue and Green Economy has been working along with farmers and other stakeholders to make agriculture even more resilient in Dominica. My team interviewed a technical officer in the Ministry of Agriculture who stated that the ministry has been focused on training farmers in sustainable practices in harmony with our green economy principles that work with Dominica's mountainous terrain and do not strip the soil of its nutrients or make it overly susceptible to erosion and natural disasters. Natural disasters obviously have an effect on agriculture, focusing on certain types of resilient tree crops and on root crops such as yams, sweet potatoes, white potatoes, and dasheen, all of which are beneath the soil, actually helps to minimize losses during a disaster. Madam Moderator, agriculture may not be flashy, but it is certainly reliable and resilient. Secondly, we have much less competition and much more of a competitive advantage in the agricultural market than we do in the tourism market. As my teammate explained, the Caribbean is one of the most tourism dependent regions in the world. The competition for tourism is tight, and that is not to say that Dominica will not get its share. But realistically speaking, our share of the market will always be small. Conversely, the demand for our agricultural products is very high. According to the International Trade Council, the annual export volume of root crops from Dominica in 2022 was valued at approximately $200,000 US. In addition, Dominica is renowned for its production of high-quality essential oils, particularly bay oil. The annual export volume of essential oils was valued at approximately $10 million US. Our blue economy is booming too. The annual export volume of fish and seafood was approximately 1,000 metric tons, with a value of around $5 million US. The technical officer from the Ministry of Agriculture explained that Dominica has many competitive advantages in the agricultural market. Dominica is one of the youngest islands in the region, speaking, and this is one of the reasons why our soil is comparatively richer and more fertile. We also have many rivers and water sources that can be used to provide sustainable irrigation. Judges, the true potential of our agriculture is still largely untouched, and yet
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your quiet during those 5 minutes while the students planned their rebuttal. And now on to my favorite part of any debates competition. This is where serious business happens. And so, students, the first speakers from the proposing and opposing side will have 5 minutes each to give their rebuttal. So, the proposing team is represented by Mr. Noah Sorrento. I call him forward to give his rebuttal.
Madam Moderator, esteemed judges, audience members, my fellow debaters, good afternoon once again. My worthy opponents have argued that the reliance of tourism in Dominica can lead to instability if something like the pandemic or other natural disasters were to happen again. While the tourism industry was susceptible to the COVID-19 pandemic, it was incredibly resilient and quick to bounce back, as evidenced by the fact that in 2023, only 2 years since the COVID-19 pandemic's most apparent effects on our country, Dominica reached its all-time high visitor count within the last decade, according to the report provided to us by the Discover Dominica Authority. It was also very close to matching its all-time high stay-over visitor count of 89,626 visitors, according to the aforementioned ECCB report. We are now on track to surpassing that all-time high this year, further proving the industry's quickness to bounce back. However, my worthy opponents, even if not as much as the tourism industry, were not all sectors detrimentally impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic in some way. But more importantly, just how common is a pandemic like COVID-19? I ask those living in Dominica now, and those who have been living in Dominica for over 50 years now, how many times they've seen something like the COVID-19 pandemic arise. Furthermore, I am certain I know your answer to that question, but furthermore, my worthy opponents did not hesitate to state tourism's shortcomings when it came to disasters like Maria. I'm touching on this because not only are hurricanes and storms a far more common occurrence on our island than pandemics, they are also extremely destructive, and the sectors that often pay the most are the ones that are for, like the agricultural sector. When discussing the effects of hurricanes and natural disasters on our country's agricultural sector on their website, United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization noted that when impacted by hazards, the agricultural sector's vulnerabilities are amplified, resulting in significant damage, loss, and lengthy recovery periods, as expressed in the consistently declining performance of the sector over time. My worthy opponents specifically note the lengthy recovery time. Whilst the agriculture sector's recovery time after hurricanes and storms is long, and whilst the sector is still feeling the effects of Hurricane Maria today, the tourism industry reached its all-time high stay-over visitor count in 2019, a mere 2 years after Hurricane Maria, further proving this sector's resilience. And not only this, my worthy opponents, but after the onslaught of Maria, which was tourists coming to the island to help restore it. In this way, tourism provided much needed revenue to the island in the time when it needed it most. I thank you.
So no one knew this, but you may not have, because I made an error. It's 3 minutes and not 5. No one knew this. It's okay. I spoke for 3 minutes and 8 seconds. Thank you, no. So I now invite the first speaker from the opposing team, Diamond Daniel, to give her rebuttal. She will have 3 minutes. Diamond?
Good afternoon to all once again. Honorable judges, no sensible craftsman would identify his most unsteady, most unreliable tool as its most valuable one. And yet, this is what my capable opponents have done today when they suggest that Dominica should look to the highly vulnerable and unpredictable tourism industry as its key industry for economic growth and diversification. According to my opponents, tourism contributes 12.2% to total GDP. However, data obtained from Dominica's very own Ministry of Finance debt portfolio for the financial year 2022 to 2023 states that tourism contributes less than 2%. Shouldn't we trust our own ministry figures compared to those of other sources? My opponents have also stated that tourism exports are marginally higher than exports of goods. Honorable judges, just imagine that agriculture is not far behind, and it is known that the tourism budget is much larger of that than of agriculture. Imagine what would happen if the same amount was invested in agriculture, or even half the amount. Finally, my capable opponents said that the tourism industry has the potential to be the greatest contributor to our economic growth. But honorable judges, I would like to know how they measure potential, because millions of dollars in investments have already been poured into this sector, arguably more than any other in Dominica. And it is still not yet the biggest contributor to our national GDP. It is not even a close second. But do you know what has been quietly but steadily rising to the top? Agriculture. May I also add that my opponent stated that there is ongoing infrastructure development, such as the building of Tranquility Beach Resort and the expansion of Secret Bay. But who are we going to get to fill up these resorts when international and regional travel prices are overwhelmingly high? Honorable judges, the glaring vulnerabilities within the tourism industry, as well as the obviously surpassing value of the agriculture industry, make it overwhelmingly clear that we are right to stand firm in our opposition to the motion. The tourism industry cannot be considered Dominica's most valuable tool for economic growth and diversification. Thank you.
Diamond spoke for 2 minutes and 51 seconds. Thank you, Diamond. All right. I invite the judges to leave the room at this time. Mrs. Stacey Williams will escort them to that special place with panel walls and all that. So I invite you to follow Daisy as you retire to deliberate. This has certainly been an exciting debate competition. This final has been wonderful. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself. And so I congratulate both teams on excellent research. You have a lot of statistics, and we'll talk about that in a little while, and excellent delivery as well. So I am very proud of both schools. I know the coaches, and so I congratulate both of them for the work that they have been doing with our debaters. I just want to recognize the sponsor before we move into the Memorable Orators Award. Give the judges time to go where they're going. So our sponsors for this competition, which started in January, have been Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, Lindomat, Fine Foods Inc., KFC, National Cooperative Credit Union, Insurance Company of the West Indies, Domlec, Western Illinois University, Fortune Hotel, Q95 FM Radio, DBS Radio, Dominica News Online, Freeman Consulting Group LLC, Dr. Joshua Lloyd and Mrs. Carinthia Joseph Lloyd, Guardian TV, Jolly's Pharmacy, HH Research and Company Limited, Jungle Bay Dominica, Lovely Things, Finance Focus, The Watering Can, Beef Eye Care, UWI Global Campus, Crazy Coconuts, Meraki Designs, Yakima Coffee, Francine Baron Commodore, Elaine Renee Buncombe, Dr. Peltier, and Jordan Jerome Photography. The entire series, the entire inter-secondary schools debate competition has been a collaboration of the Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training and National Excellence, the Dominica State College Literary and Debating Society, and Exquisite Events and Rentals. And of course, our chief coordinator, Ms. Trudy Christian, put your hands together for Ms. Trudy. She was an excellent debate in my own day when she was a student at Convent High School. All right. So throughout the entire competition for 2024, the committee has been observing the student performances, and of course, in every round, there have been students who have been judged the best speaker within those rounds. And so the Memorable Orion Award is an award and presentation for those students who have consistently done very well in terms of their performance as orators in this competition. I believe there's a lovely video for you that you are seeing on your screen as I talk. There's no sound. Should I keep talking?
Where have all those who once held these positions gone? Again, the government is responsible for ensuring that the teachers flee the country. My worthy opponents, our economic and national development is on the line, and the very fabric of our country is threatened by brain drain. Soon, my worthy opponents, we will be left with an aging, unqualified, unskilled population unable to contribute to national development. My worthy opponents, stress leading to eventual burnout is another possible consequence of preparing to write exams in 15 or 27 subjects. Consider, my worthy opponents, how much work students must do to ace 15 or 27 subjects. These students will be constantly preoccupied with work, day and night, bringing about stress and possibly burnout. According to the Canadian Red Cross Association, stress has a psychological impact that can manifest as irritability or aggression, a feeling of loss of control, fatigue or exhaustion, sadness or tears, concentration or memory problems, or more.
The second problem is that public institutions and organizations in Dominica have the unfortunate reputation of being blatantly biased. So even after they learned about the existence of these support organizations, many of the young people we spoke to were not encouraged because they were inclined to believe that funding approval would be based not on the merit of their business idea, but on the age-old Dominican principle: who know you and who you know. Madam Moderator, let's get one thing straight. Carnival's history is not innocent, and we do well to remember that when discussing what it has become. The roots of Carnival are sit in the idea of reckless abandon of social norms. My team interviewed Mr. Gregory Rabes, a former cultural officer and cultural expert, and he confirmed that carnivals of the past in Dominica always included some sexually suggestive costumes. Sadly, these traditional costumes are underappreciated and foreign to many. Some try to justify this by saying that we cannot stay in the past forever, and that you must expect things like carnival to go through periods of evolution. However, I must point out that changes should not override and slowly wipe out our traditional roots. In the second article, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt was quoted for his response to the situation, saying, "The same
way you can criticize without paying is the same when you graduate and you walk in your high heels and all fees paid. You are noble. You should post the same thing. I feel the need to stress on the fact that the students' fees being paid is part of a contract for government-assisted students. The students are within their own rights to criticize the government for not upholding their end of the bargain, and they do not have to praise them for doing what they are contractually required to do. The same is true with the police and the public. If the first order of business is to punish rather than to offer grace, the civilians will hate the police more than they already do, thus widening the gap that already exists between the two. As such, the implementation of gun amnesties gives an avenue for grace. The police are in fact saying, through amnesties, I am trusting you to bring it in. And by bringing it in, the civilians are demonstrating the trust in their police as well. To help, such as therapy, which is in their best interest, and providing education to members of society by teaching them to detect potential sexual predators among them. This is in our best interest. Madam Moderator, judges, members of the audience, I implore you, think about the consequences of establishing a sex registry job. Ask yourself, are we willing to take such a risk in our small Dominican society? No, we should not.
Okay, for memorable orator. I will invite the Camera Paul from Domlek join me on stage, as well as Miss Trudy Christian, who will assist her with handing out the awards for our memorable orators. So our first memorable orator to be recognized is Mr. Noah Sarando, Secretary. Congratulations, Noah. Our next memorable orator, Diamond Daniel Orion. Congratulations, Dan. Our next memorable orator to recognize is Ms. Terence LeBlanc. Congratulations, Terence. Final memorable orator to be recognized is Ms. Eleanor Jolie Donaldson. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Olivia. Thank you very much to Mr. Tamara Paul of Domlek for the presentation of the awards for the memorable orators of our season, Mr. Noah Sorrento, Ms. Diamond Daniel, Ms. Terence LeBlanc, and Ms. Eleanor Jolie. Seeing these students in action over the past few months have really been something. They are really, really extraordinary, and I congratulate them all. At this time, still deliberating, I have some
questions, I'd like to engage you in a discussion as we wait for the results, unless there's something I'm missing at you. You want all 4 children together? Oh, yeah, oh, yes. You may go back to meet your parents and we'll call you when it's time for the results. So as I listened to the debates, I took some notes, and one of the things that I found astounding and wonderfully so was the statistics and the varying statistics. One side is giving these statistics and the other side is giving us that statistics. So some of the things I took down from the proposed side, they mentioned that 12.2% of our GDP was contributed, tourism was a contribution of 12.2% of our GDP, and that represented a 22% increase overall for tourism. And they also mentioned that the average stay over tourist spends over 3,000 EC dollars during the stay, and they mentioned the goal of 500,000 by 2030. The opposing side mentioned a 20% decline after the natural disaster, which would be Hurricane Maria. And they mentioned that there has been a 25% increase in regional travel, making regional travel very expensive, and that Dominica's share in the already tight tourism market in the Caribbean was 0.003%. Isn't that amazing? We are just going over 12.2% increase, but that still puts us at 0.003% overall, and it's representing less than 2% of the regional GDP tourism. So I was very impressed with these statistics, and so I want to talk a little bit about that. I'm hopeful that there's a roving mic somewhere, and there's a student who has that roving mic. And the prizes for people who are participating with me. Okay. So there's snacks. We're working for food. There's snacks. All right. So I'm talking about some of those statistics, and I want to ask the members of the audience, what do you think these statistics mean? I mean, whichever one you choose to follow or decide that is statistics for you, what do you think that these statistics mean for Dominica? Right? Statistics about regional travel being expensive, that it's going to 0.003% of our economy after all, that increased by 22%. What do these things mean for Dominica? Anyone? Robert, could you move around, please? Anyone want to talk about the statistics or what shocked you about the statistics or anything concerning the statistics? You're on national radio and television and everything, and most of you in this room are debaters for your schools. So, nothing shocked you about the statistics at all? And what it means for Dominica? A student from Convent High School wants to start us off.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. Go ahead.
The statistic in which SME proposed that tourism created around 22%.
Yeah, 22% increase.
Yes, in our GDP. Orion stated that it was not a good statistic, but I feel like a 20% increase is very good. And while everyone else was kind of surprised as to, how is it so low, I just think that means that we're coming on the up, we're moving up, and the 22% increase is a good start. For such a small country like ours, and we don't have as much to work with as other countries in the region do. So 22% is a great place to start, and I just feel like we should appreciate that more.
Anyone else to agree or disagree? Anyone? I guess somebody has a semi-hand. I'm not sure what that is. No? All right, I'll move on to the next. But I don't have other questions. I'll just start and start down to the GA because the judges are not back yet. All right. The finance minister spoke, well, we heard from one of the students that the finance minister spoke of a goal for 500,000 tourists by 2030. Do we believe that that is too ambitious? Why or why not? 500,000 tourists by 2030. Do we think that that is doable? Or do we think, given the current state of affairs, that that is a little too ambitious? What do we think? Anyone? Teachers, put in the front. Set up crowd for me. Oh, we do have a couple of this. Do you think that is ambitious or do you think we can do this?
Hi. So, to be honest, I don't think that's too ambitious. As long as we could keep developing as a country and we support expanding along with the rest of the world, I think we can reach that goal.
Very good, thank you. Everybody agree? I'm hearing discussion on what the students in the back would like to say something. Is 500,000 ambitious? Why or why not?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to say that I don't think that the 500,000 is particularly ambitious. If we marketed ourselves at a higher level, I think that would be easily attainable. My thoughts.
Okay, very good. Was another thing? There was another student behind us.
Hi.
Hello.
I believe it is quite ambitious, not because to come to Dominica, but I think our resources and simply getting to Dominica is just not at the place we would like it to be. So I think right now it is quite ambitious.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? 500,000, you think we can do it?
Good morning, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I don't think they would give that sum if they didn't think it was capable of achieving. So if it is something they think that they can do, I don't think they would have written it down for the whole of Dominica to see and for them to build. So I don't think they would set themselves up for failure. So if they can give that large of a sum, I think they should maybe go higher. Because if we really put it into practice, if we really take it into consideration, like we say, tourism is everybody's business. If we take it seriously as we should, I believe we should maybe go to higher. Never know.
Was a gentleman like to say something?
Good afternoon. I would like to say that I don't really think that it is ambitious, but at the rate we're going, the rivers are our source of tourism, and tourism is like our source of income at the moment. And due to climate change, our rivers are currently drying up. So we won't really have much more tourism to reach the limit that we're trying to go for.
All right. There was a gentleman over there from who had his hand up earlier. I'm not sure if it's still has something to say. Would you still want to make a contribution? Yes, he did.
They said that 1/3 came from tourism. And I think that that makes the country more dependent on tourism and that we should be independent of ourselves and stuff that comes from our island only, not from external sources.
I personally believe that the 500,000 is a very tangible goal because, as mentioned by my debater here, the developments such as the international airport and the hotel and the cable cars I believe that those will bring in a lot of tourism to the country, and thus it will help us reach the 500,000 very easily.
Thank you. My next question is, how does Dominica's vulnerability in terms of climate change impact the tourism sector? So we heard about vulnerability, particularly from the opposing side. So how does Dominica's vulnerability in terms of climate change impact the tourism sector? Of course, Mr. Gallo. I'm surprised I was waiting for Miss from St. Joe to say something already, and I haven't heard anything yet.
Okay, good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon.
So from the geographical point of view, Dominica is extremely prone to disasters, all disasters in fact. Volcanic eruptions, we host 9 centers in the Caribbean. We know that we are the bullseye for hurricanes, landslides, earthquakes, and tsunamis are like the next pending. So we are definitely vulnerable. Therefore, we definitely have to find alternative sources for income as it refers to our development. I mean, we can actually use our natural, which we do, our natural features to market. I think we can actually disaster tourism, something that we can explore. So following Hurricane Maria, quite a few people came on volunteerism. So they came to assist. So that was actually a way of earning money while getting assistance. But we can actually market more of our vulnerability to our advantage, that we can be a classroom for teaching of disasters and disaster management, because we actually have everything here. It's literally to get, so more we can target universities and high schools across the world to visit Dominica to actually look at these different things that we fortunately and unfortunately are blessed with. So that's one of the things that we should actually pursue.
Very good, thank you. Anybody else want to comment on Dominica's vulnerability in terms of climate change and the impact that that has on the tourism sector?
As you know, Dominica relies a lot on its natural features when it comes to tourism. Most of the attraction in Dominica are its natural features, the rivers, the waterfalls, the oceans, and so climate change greatly affects those features and can really hinder us when it comes to tourism if it ends up affecting it too much. Which is why I think we should use more on what we produce, our production, and different sectors, and not bank on tourism, as it could end up being greatly effective and greatly detrimental.
Talk about Dominica's vulnerability in terms of climate change and tourism.
I believe there's a positive and a negative to every side. So we cannot really prevent natural disasters, and we cannot prevent things happening to us. But we can change our view on it. We can change what we do with what we have. So let's say the tourist bus under the tree in Gardens. That was caused from a natural disaster. But we chose to use that for our betterment than our negative pursuit on things. So it has a negative side and a positive side, because to be honest, some people come to Dominica for authenticity. Some people come to us to see certain things. Like, let's be honest. Some people wouldn't know about us because of Maria. Maria brought a lot of awareness to Dominica. Hurricane David brought a lot of awareness to Dominica, and the things that happen to us negatively can impact us greatly. So it's always see, and always just to see certain things that happen to us.
There's a question, contribution at the front.
I believe that in terms of climate change, Dominica is very prone to climate change, and the tourism industry in Dominica can be very affected by some climate change, predominantly hurricanes, I believe. However, I do not believe that this is necessarily a very strong hindering factor against the tourism industry in Dominica. as it's seen in other countries that are very affected by hurricanes, such as Florida, they're able to bounce back very readily and bring back tourism numbers in even larger scales than before. And aside from hurricanes, for example, there was this island called Tuvalu, and they're being affected by the rising ocean levels and by climate change. But they're combating this with doing online ecotourism. So I believe even though that climate change may affect the tourism industry a lot in Dominica, it doesn't affect it that much, and there are several steps that we can take to negate the effects, essentially.
My next question is, so we know that St. Mary's talked about indirect impacts, positive indirect impacts of tourism on the economy. Yes. So my question is, what are some of those valuable indirect impacts of tourism on the economy? What are some of the valuable indirect impacts of tourism on the economy? One. Nobody has anything to say about the valuable indirect impacts of tourism? Somebody just said earlier that tourism is everybody's business. No, the judge is not ready yet, so I don't know what you want to do. I'll dance the jig for you. All right, my next question is, what are some specific areas of tourism that Dominica can pay attention to? And somebody did have something to say for the indirect impacts. Okay.
Hello again. As a geography student whose essay is focusing on tourism, especially in the Rosewood area, on cruise tourism, how we have cruise coming, a lot during the tourist to a lot of busy bayfront area, and such as Paris or sweet novelties. They sponsor of other smaller businesses in Dominica, and with all these tourists coming in, they will have nothing to sponsor. So, first have a kind of support for these businesses, and these businesses support other businesses. So, tourism is everyone's business.
What are some specific
Afternoon. One of the indirect outcomes I live in Noda, so it's naturally a place where a lot of tourists come for freshwater lake, boiling lake. We'll have you get the one thing, like I guess that because of the area I live in, like how it is, somewhere that kind of tourist my mother. So because I used to have a lot, I got to meet people from different cultures and being able to people and get people skills. So that is something that a lot of tourists come and like they have different cultures. You can learn from the cultures and to get the people definitely help in your life of the job. As most of the youth go overseas, they would definitely be able to get the jobs and be able to really do something.
Orion said that our agricultural potential is hardly untouched, which can make the island more resilient and go against hurricanes like Hurricane Maria. Like For tourism, if tourism and a natural disaster happens, this can spread word about our island that it is bad and you can't live in it. And so that's why one of the specific areas that we can focus on is safety, like making the island more resilient with our agricultural potential, that's hardly untouched, safety measures, and more stuff like that. And that's why safety is one of the main factors that we should be focusing on right now.
Thank you. Question is, what are some specific areas of tourism that Dominica can pay attention to and expand on? What are some specific areas of tourism that Dominica can pay attention to and expand on? So Mary's told us quite a bit of those.
I think an area that they can focus on and expand on is mostly the development of facilities that will aid in tourism, like the international airport. It's been spoken about for years, and yet barely any progress. Also, more hotels, more places to stay, more attractions. As I said before, most of our attractions are naturally based, but we can also build certain attractions that can help us boost tourism.
Very good. All right. And I think that the judges are back, so I give them space to come back. Let's start for the judges. And there is a student who would like to make a contribution on the last question, Ruba. Person with my roving mic. The student with my roving mic. A student from Convent would like to make a contribution.
Afternoon.
It wasn't that student, so we take it after. But go ahead right now. So there's still one more person. But go ahead.
Good afternoon. I think an area that we should focus on is making more of our younger people more into the tourism and more into Dominica so that we can build up more of a proper society for Dominica so that more people will focus on like the freshwater lakes, for example, and the boiling lakes and Trafalgar.
Thank you. So we take one more comment and that's from Ms. Williams.
Good afternoon. So Orion mentioned that a very lucrative industry to promote tourism in Dominica is agriculture. And I think many of us would like to believe that, but in the 1990s, Dominica had an ongoing battle regarding bananas and agriculture, regarding like the banana industry. And we had this rich, fertile soil, and everything they mentioned that we could take opportunity of, and it didn't matter because the the large businesses like Chiquita and Dole, who like monopolized the banana industry, basically drew us out. And bananas were our cash crop at the time, and now it has made our industry rely on tourism and other means of GDP to use that. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you very much. All right. So the judges have returned. I do note that there is a prize for the most improved school. Do you want to do it? You want to do it during prize giving? Okay, all right. So it is now time for us to hear the judges' critique. I have not received the results. Is that the chair is doing it, or am I going to do that? Can I get the results? But anyway, so we'll have the chief judge reports, and then I will give you the results. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mrs. Nicole Lam.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me recognize the Minister for Education, Honorable Alfred. I want to recognize the officer in charge of the Dominica State College, Miss Trudy Christian. Excuse me. Our sponsors for the debates over the weeks, all the students, the teachers, well-wishers who are here today, Madam Moderator. So I'm sure we can all agree it was a very, very tough competition and a very tough debate, right? All right, and I know some of us maybe have in our head who had the edge or not, but at the end of the day, there is a winner, and we hope that we will all be happy for the winner and also for the team that was not successful, but everyone did very well. Everyone did very well, and we hope that everyone can be satisfied that great effort was made. So the judges' comments overall, we all agreed that both teams were very well researched. We heard quotations from technical officers in various ministries. We had credible authorities, quotes and statistics from credible authorities, international as well as local authorities. Another point that we thought both teams excelled in was their ability to touch on the key terms in the statement. So they were able to speak to the value of the tourism industry. So they spoke about the value, they spoke about growth, they spoke about diversification. Where we felt they could have expounded a bit more is to speak about the current aspects. So it says the tourism industry is currently the most valuable tool. A lot of the statistics were from the past. So we're looking for some more recent statistics that will touch on the current aspect of the statement. The rebuttals overall were, well, we as the judges, we have been following the debates over the few weeks, and we felt the rebuttals, the speakers improved in their rebuttals. Overall, they were good. However, they were still a little overly scripted. Traditionally, rebuttals are supposed to be more spontaneous. So in future, we hope that the rebuttals will be a little more spontaneous and off the cuff. One area we want to caution about is that we want to ask teams to be careful not to give information that contradicts the previous point, because that means you're arguing against your team member or you're arguing against yourself, your own self. So that's a point that we picked up during this debate. So be careful not to give information or points that contradicts previous points made. Overall, the deliveries were excellent. We had speakers that were the diction was excellent, very confident, very poised, a lot of audience eye contact. So we want to applaud the speakers for that confidence and for those great deliveries. These are our general comments. So like I said, the competition is very tight. And I, on behalf of the judges, want to congratulate all 4 debaters. You did an excellent job, and we know that your future is bright and you have far to go in life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Laville, and the other 2 judges, Mr. Edwards and Ms. Seja. Thank you very much. And so it's now time for the results. So I invite the debaters to come forward and return to their positions. Noah and Jelani. We have 2 awards, one for Best Speaker and one for Best Rebuttal. So I'll name those now. The prize maybe will take this later, but I'll name those now. So the Best Speaker, according to the judges, is Mr. Noah Sarendi. second award is for the best rebuttal, and the best rebuttal is by Diamond Daniel. So that makes it a good fight. Indeed. All right. So I'm going to call the scores per team. For the proposing team from the St. Mary's Academy, Noah Sarendo and Jelani Shillingford, 671 points. 671 points. For the opposing team, by Orion Academy, Diamond Daniel and Ejadi Maxwell, 691. This year's Orion Academy champion for Tutor Secondary School. Ladies and gentlemen, my job is done here. I now pass back to the chair, which should be Christian. Clap for the new champions of the intersecondary school division competition. 24. The Orion Academy, and of course the runners-up, the St. Mary's Academy. Exceptional job to you all. The Orion Academy, of course, last year the title eluded you, but this year you came back and captured. Congratulations to you. So now it is time for us to give out some prizes. The nice part, right? The prize, and everybody gets prizes at the intersecondary schools debating competition. That's why we have so many sponsors. That's why I beg so much. So we will start not with the debaters here today, but with the most improved school. I really wanted to reward the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School for their extreme determination in this debate season and for progressing all the way to the semifinals. The most improved school with a prize, a cash prize, sponsored by Dr. Eilif Peltier, the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School. And we know they'll be fighting hard next year to get to the finals. The prize for the best rebuttal, this prize was awarded to Diamond Daniel of the Orion Academy. Her cash prize is sponsored by Francine Baron Commodore. Congratulations, Diamond, best rebuttal at the finals. The coveted Best Speaker Award today went to Noah Sarendo of the St. Mary's. He receives a cash prize sponsored by Dr. Eilif Peltier. Congratulations, Noah. And you all would notice both the best rebuttal and the best speaker are memorable orators as well of this year's debate season. So congratulations. The runners-up, the St. Mary's Academy, Noah Sarendo and Jelani Shillingford. These young men will be receiving cash prizes, gift certificates, compliments, Jungle Bay, Dominica, and gifts from Meraki Design. So I call on, Noah is already there, Mr. Jelani Shillingford, to receive the prizes. Noah, 1 second, there's another one. For being the runners-up, close runners-up in the finals of the intersecondary schools debating competition, the St. Mary's Academy. Another round of applause for them, please.
The winners of the finals today, the Orion Academy, Miss Diamond Daniel and Mr. Ejadi Jazz Maxwell. They have been awarded the grand prize, which is a trip for four to Lucia, all expenses paid, with a stay at Coco Palm Resort. A prize valued at $5,000. The contributors to that prize, the insurance company of the West Indies, National Cooperative Credit Union, 1 second, Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited. I'd like to call on the representative from the NCCU to assist with the handover of the prize, the trophies to the winners. And make sure the sponsor rep gets the photo winners. Also, the winners receive tokens, compliments, Meraki designs. And the winners also receive a gift basket that was not given to them. I apologize. So come back, winners. We're not through rewarding you. The big gift baskets, the big ones. Those are for the winners. Congratulations to the Orion Academy, Diamond Daniel and Ejadi Maxwell. And of course, I recognize as the long-standing coach of the Literary and Debating Society debate team of the Dominica State College, that the coaches put in a lot of effort, maybe even sometimes more effort than the debaters themselves, and the coaches take this competition very seriously. The work that they have done must be recognized at each round. We recognize the coaches today. We recognize the coach from the school that is the runner-up, the St. Mary's Academy, the coach, Ms. Sharon Philogen. I call on her. To receive a prize sponsored by Lovely Things, as well as a small gift basket, the small one, so I have to give it. So prize sponsored by Lovely Things, gift certificate sponsored by Lindo Marks, and of course, a little basket to add, to top it off. Congratulations, Ms. Philogen, for your hard work with Team SMA. So the coach from the Orion Academy today, the women's school, Mrs. Abigail Woodman, and call on you now. I call on you out. Standing ovation from Orion Academy, that is amazing. Mrs. Woodman received a prize from Lovely Things, gift certificate from Linda, and of course her gift basket. Mrs. Woodman, congratulations and thank you for your exceptional work with the Orion team. Everybody has to get something. Judges, it's your turn. You judges, thank you for taking the time off, for coming to this debate and lending your expertise in adjudicating this debate. Your prizes are sponsored. Your prizes are sponsored by Jolly's Pharmacy and for the moderator as well. So I'd like to call on the Chief Judge, Mrs. Nicole Laville, to accept the judges' prize from Jolly's Pharmacy. The gift basket almost went to you, Mrs. Laville, but I had to stop them. Mr. David Edwards, judging today. Round of applause for the judges, please. Token of our appreciation, sponsored by John's Pharmacy. And Ms. Indira Seja, the third judge. And of course, Lovely ceremony moderator for today's debate, Dr. Kimo Joseph, also receives a token from Jolly's Pharmacy. Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph, for all you have done for this debate series. Everybody gets awarded. The logistics committee, who have done tireless work in assisting me in putting out this product, the intersecondary schools debating competition, they will also receive a prize. That's what the small gift baskets are for. Miss Tari Ansel, who is not with us today, she was there for the semifinals. You would have seen her and round 2 and round 1. Mrs. Daisy Williams and Miss Alicia Jajak, I call you forward to receive a token of appreciation for your support in organizing the intersecondary schools debating competition. So Mrs. Williams couldn't give herself the prize. So the State College students will do so. Thank you so much, Logistics Committee, for your hard work. Last but not least, everybody must get something. The members of the DSC Literary and Debating Society who have shown up for every debate this round. Not everybody shows up for everyone, but these 3 ladies have shown up for everyone. The president of the DSC Literary and Debating Society, Bijou Desiree. The vice president, Annalisa Hunter. And Carla, you can also kind of give yourself the prize. So Mrs. Williams will assist. So thank you to the DSC Literary and Debating Society. And that concludes the prize giving aspect of today's finals. And now, Annalisa Hunter. Sorry, Annalisa, I didn't realize you were so far behind. The big one. We forgot the winners to take back to their school for 1 year, or possibly they will next year for 2 years, who knows? The grand trophy of the intersecondary schools debate, passing on from the Upper Orchard SDA last year, now to the Orion Academy, the winning trophy. Make sure you let the principal, Ms. Robinson, and make sure you make Mrs. Whitman raise that trophy, guys. Diamond and Johnny. I know you're taking the photo of it now, but make sure the principal gets to raise that trophy. Of course, once again, congratulations, Orion Academy. So that is the end of the prize giving aspect. I'd now like to call on the president. The moderator said, no, it's not. But after she says, no, it's not, the president of DSC Literary and Debating Society, stand by. No, it is not. I would like to recognize Delbert Paris, Senator Delbert Paris has been with us for the entire morning. I just want to recognize that. Thank you for coming to the debate. I'm going to the vote of thanks. We have a presentation that we would like to give, and so I invite Daisy Williams, who is on the committee, as well as Ms. Leandra Lambda. She had hoped Leandra Lambda had to go, so Ms. Williams will assist me in the presentation. We really want to recognize Ms. Trudy Christian for the work that she has done in advising debate in secondary schools in Dominica. After the Kuwanians stopped doing the competition, there was a serious lull and a big gap. And so I congratulate Ms. Christian. Ms. Christian, I know the amount of work that you do in terms of the bedding and in terms of the training and all the things that you do and leading your team. And we want you to know that that does not go unrecognized. Thank you so much, Ms. Christian.
Thank you so much. Everybody gets some. Everybody gets
something. Thank you very much, Ms. Williams. And now I invite the person designated to give the vote of thanks to come forward at this time and to do so. And that is Bishop Desiree.
your eyes to your mercies. The man who forgets to be thankful has fallen asleep in life. Robert Louis Stevenson. As the intersecondary schools debate competition comes to an end, it is with immense gratitude and heartfelt appreciation that I stand before you today to deliver this vote of thanks. This event would not have been possible without the steadfast commitment of numerous individuals and organizations, and it is only fitting that we express our gratitude to each and every one. First and foremost, I would like to thank all the participating schools for their unwavering support and dedication to nurturing the talents of their students. Their commitment to education and fostering a culture of debate is truly commendable. We extend our gratitude to the coaches who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes, guiding and mentoring the debaters to reach their full potential. Your expertise, patience, and encouragement have been instrumental in shaping these young minds. To the debaters, who have showcased their intellect, eloquence, and passion on this prestigious platform, we applaud your hard work, dedication, and sportsmanship throughout the competition. We express our sincere appreciation to the moderators and judges for their time, expertise, and impartiality in evaluating the debates. Your invaluable feedback and constructive criticism have contributed to the growth and development of all participants. A big thank you to the dynamic audience for your presence, support, and lively engagement during the debates. Your energy and encouragement have created a vibrant atmosphere. We cannot forget the parents who have stood by their children, providing love, encouragement, and unwavering support throughout their debate journey. Your belief in their abilities and sacrifices have not gone unnoticed. A very, very special thank you to our generous sponsors, whose support and contributions have been instrumental in making this event a reality. Your belief in the power of education and debate has not only enriched this competition, but has also inspired young minds to strive for excellence. Last, but certainly not least, a heartfelt thank you to Ms. Trudy Christian for her exceptional leadership, guidance, and vision in spearheading this debate competition. Your passion for debating and commitment to empowering young minds are truly inspiring. I would like to thank each and every one of you here today who has contributed in any way to the success of this event. Your collective efforts have made this intersecondary school debate competition a memorable and enriching experience for all. Let us continue to foster a culture of debates, critical thinking, and intellectual growth in our schools and communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Bijou. And that's all, folks, in the cartoon legacy words. That's it, we're done. But I'd like to ask you to please allow for the departure of the Honorable Minister, Mrs. Alfred, and also there are refreshments, debaters, coaches, sponsors, reps, debate officials. Make sure you get your refreshments, and then anybody else after that. Thank you so much, everybody, for your attention. The minister has departed, and it is the end. See you next year for the intersecondary schools debating competition.